Grace and peace to you. This is yours truly, Bishop Bowser, coming at you once again. So, today, I just want to speak briefly to black mothers, girlfriends, aunts, grandmothers, sisters, even wives, right? Of black women who have a black man in their life who might be one of these individuals that is from the streets and don't have any skills or who is a crash out dummy, right? I have, and let me just give you a little background of why I'm sharing this story. I have a friend of mine who I used to gang bang with back in the 70s and the 80s. He ended up going to prison for involved in a shooting, and then he got out and got struck out in the 90s, and did about 30 years in prison, and he's out. He's been out for a couple of years now, and so same age as I am, 63 years old. We live that life. We've participated in so many vile and evil and wicked things, and so on. And so he understands now, after everything he's been through, have some set of life skills, sense of life skills, to be able to manage and handle situations. But he did get into a confrontation with a mother, black mother, about a parking space and all this kind of stuff. And so the mom got mad, went home, and got her son, who been in prison, all that. He told my homie told me he was about 30 years old or what have you. And they came to his house, right? Knocked on his door and came to his house. Now, the first thing is, if you don't know a person's background, know nothing about an individual, you don't go knocking at anyone's door, right? And, number two, the mom, she should have never went and got her son, right? She should have handled that confrontation herself, understanding, realizing that her son probably don't have any life skills and know how to manage and handle things. He probably had his heater with him and probably never had a man in his life to show him how to manage his emotions and skillfully work through hostile situations without having to result to or get involved in violence, and know how to de-escalate things. These young men today do not have emotional literacy, emotional intelligence. They do not know how to manage their emotions, and they've taken on their mother's ways, right? Which, women have estrogen and men have testosterone. That estrogen really make women feminine, and it makes them very emotional, right? And so men have to understand that you can't follow the ways of your mom, but a lot of young boys do. So they went to his house, knocked on the door, right? And that's the first thing. You don't know that this dude's a serial killer. You don't know he's a law-abiding citizen that might be afraid and call the police. And your son, black mother, or whoever, black woman, your young man that you bring to try to protect you or to defend you or to get revenge for you, or in a vindictive or bitter or angry way, many times you could either cause him to end up getting sent to prison or getting killed, right? Because if he come with his heater, come with his pipe, as they would say, and knock on that door, and the person that answers, if they're a law-abiding citizen, they're scared, they're gonna call the police, and your son or that young black man is going to jail, right? And if you've been to prison before, he's going to be gone for a few years at least, right? Or he can get killed and lose his life, because if it's a killer that's at the door and he knows that the youngsters be packing and carrying the heat, he's going to come with his heat, right? If he have one, right? But my homeboy, he don't want to go back to prison, and he don't want to get caught up in that kind of stuff no more. So, but he did answer the door and, engage the young man, because the young man was upset about the confrontation that he had with his mom and stuff like that. And the young man left, and when he left, he said, "Don't let me have to come back." And I asked my homie, I was like, "What did you say to him?" He said, "I didn't say nothing, man, because he might have been packing, right? He might have been carrying some heat with him." And then my homeboy, we banged together. So the best way I can say it is we cut our teeth for killers, right? And he was like, "Man," he said, "if I would have had a gun, I wouldn't have went out. I wouldn't answer the door. There'd have been no talking, right?" I said, "No, man, you thank God you didn't have a gun, and I think you did the right thing by not saying anything. But if you can find that young man when he's by himself and he calmed down, and you're able to talk to him, then you can share some knowledge with him and help him to understand that what he did was not cool in so many different ways. He can get himself killed. But these moms," and this is what I want to address, need to be talked to and have a conversation with also. Because quit bringing your loved one, whether it's your boyfriend, your husband, your son, your nephew, or whoever it is, bringing them into your altercation. Because a lot of times these black men, even some older ones, right? They don't know, they don't have life skills. They don't know how to I shouldn't say anger. They don't know how to handle situations that are hostile and aggressive. And instead of de-escalating, they may escalate, right? They don't know how to come into a situation calm and like men, right? Talk and discuss it. I'm 63, my homeboy's 63. We at an age now where we're not about all that fighting. Man, I swing hard enough, I might injure myself, right? So we ain't trying to fight. And for me, I don't have no guns. I ain't trying to shoot nobody and go to prison for the rest of my life. And I ain't trying to get killed, right? So a lot of times we won't engage you. We just let you talk your smack, go on. It ain't that we're a punk or softy. We just want to live to see another day. But at the same time, right, we're your elders. And we can really teach you some things if you would just calm down and listen, right? And learn some things from us. And so that's why I asked my homeboy, like, if you see him, when you see him again, try to talk to him and have a conversation with him, to break some knowledge down to him and let him know that what he's doing is not cool, and he need to learn how to get some life skills, right? How to talk to people, how to engage, when not to engage, find the best time to engage, and things like that, because, you got out of that situation safely. Everybody did, but somebody could have died, and that's how you hear about shootings. Most shootings among black people are either gang related, domestic violence, or community violence, where out of anger or a drug deal or whatever, someone ended up getting shot and killed, right? And we know that a lot of these youngsters today, they're not willing to fight, right? Even if they get a fight, they're still gonna pull out their gun and shoot you. And so, and we can't, we're too old to be fighting anyway. And but when I was growing up, we used to say, I'm too old to fight and too young to run, right? But now I'm too old to fight and I'm too old to run, And so the best thing we try to do is stay out of the way. I know I do, and that's what I told him. You don't need no gun, bro, because you get a gun, then you're gonna be more confrontational. And when homeboy said, "Don't let me come back," you would say, "What's gonna happen? If you come back and somebody jumped off, you probably pull out your pistol." That heat and the shooting, he could have killed you. You could have killed him. The innocent person standing by could have got killed. Kids could have got killed. Anybody. We don't think about all those things. We just rush and jump on situations. But moms and aunts and sisters and girlfriends and all you black women out there that, calm down with your anger and your emotions and quit dragging these YNs, these OGs, and even sometimes these elders, triple OGs and elders, into these situations, end up getting them killed because they're macho man and they want to play the hero and they want to act like they tough and bad because I'm a man, I got to protect my woman or protect my family. And that's true, right? But I think the one who, my homeboy that was at the door, he the one that had the right to protect his family because you came to his house, right? And anybody else probably would have came there with some heat, man, and somebody would have got shot and killed. So calm down and quit doing that. That's what I want to say. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, give a comment, and so on. And let's talk about this. What do you think? God bless you.